For class, as I said, you just need a dish towel. To start, you can fold it in half long ways and then fold it in half again so that it's nice and long and just easy to hold on to. If you want to just scrunch it up and hold it long ways, that also works. And then just start standing up nice and tall. Take a big inhale, let your shoulders come up towards your ears, and then exhale. Just let them fall down and relax. Take another inhale. Feel your ribs expand to the sides and back behind you. And then exhale. Let your rib cage relax. Feel the front of your ribs drop. Inhale, give the towel a little squeeze. And then exhale. Let it relax. 2 more like that. Inhale, giving a little squeeze to the towel. And exhale. Let it release. 1 more time. Good. Now here on your inhale, you're going to start to float your arms up in front of you. And then exhale, go over to the right side. Keeping your head even in between your arms. Rooting down through that left side, but keep reaching out of that right arm as well. And then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, lower your arms in front of you. Inhale, lift them up. And exhale, reach over to that left side. Root down through your right foot. Reach long through both arms. And then come back to the top. Excuse me. Exhale, lower your hands all the way down. Inhale, lift them up. We're going to do this 1 more time. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale to the top. Exhale, lower your arms. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale to the left. Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, drop your hands. And then let your knees be soft, and you're going to nod from the crown, or from your chin, crown of the head, roll all the way down 1 vertebrae at a time. Lowering those hands with the towel towards the floor. And then pull the towel apart as you start to stack your spine all the way back up. Have your shoulders find their place on top of your hips. Nod your chin, round all the way back down. You can have the towel skim your shins and then relax for a second at the bottom. Take a second for the stretch. Think about widening your sitting bones. And then narrow the sitting bones. Tuck the tailbone under as you round all the way back up. 2 more. Going nice and slowly again. Take a second at the bottom for the stretch. Really let your head fully relax. And then exhale, come all the way back up. This time you're going to lift your arms up overhead and take 1 big stretch towards the ceiling. And then drop your arms in front of you. You're going to come to sit on the floor. You can sit cross-legged or with your legs out in front of you. Doesn't matter, your choice. And you're going to bring your towel behind your neck. And you're going to scoop it around so that it is cradling the base of your head, and then the tops of your ears are sort of wrapped up in this towel, sort of like one of those headbands they give you when you're getting a facial. Think about lifting up through the back of the head, the base of the skull, and then rotate over towards the right. Coming back to the center, you're going to stay rotating towards the right. And relax. Just check in on your legs. Have you noticed you're starting to pull them up, or are they staying generally relaxed? If they're not, go ahead and take a different positioning for your knees, or for your legs rather, not just your knees. Over to the right. And center. And now switch your legs if they are crossed, so you have the opposite leg in front. Sitting up nice and tall. Twist and rotate towards the left. And back to the center. And rotate. And center. 4 more. 3. 2. And last one. Good. And then take that towel out from underneath your head. Bring it to the floor in front of you. And then you can have your, I don't know if you can see, just your fingertips are on top of the towel. And then keeping your chest tall, slide the towel away from you. You can also just like walk your fingertips away, whatever works better. Getting a little stretch in the hips. Again, keeping your chest nice and tall, and then round your spine and come all the way back up. Cross your legs the other direction one more time for this stretch. And then same thing, slide or walk your fingertips out, keeping your chest nice and tall. Pause for a second to get that stretch. Take a big inhale. And then round yourself all the way back up. And then you're going to take your towel and just move it off to the side somewhere. And you are going to come into all fours. So from here with your knees right underneath your hips, think about widening the sitting bones and doing nothing with the upper body. So you're going to find that little bit of extension through just the low back, but not the upper back. And then think about narrowing your sitting bones, reaching the front of your hip bones up towards your ribs, but again, nothing changes in the upper back. And then widen those sitting bones, lift up. Think about lengthening the quads to the backs of the legs, getting rid of that crease between your butt and your hamstrings, the back of your thigh, and then round your low back. Again, only that low back, widening the sitting bones. And then round the low back again. Good. And then from here, find a neutral. Moving only the pelvis. You're going to hike your right hip up towards your left rib or your right rib cage. So same side lateral curve. And then keep reaching long through the crown of the head. And then find the length through that right side as you bring it back to neutral. And then over to the left. Same thing, lateral side bend here. Just through those hips. And then over to the right one more time. And find that length to the left. And back to the center. Good. From here, starting at the base of your spine, whole spine is going. So narrow those sitting bones, round the spine up towards the ceiling. And then really press through your hands, feel the upper back, and then feel the head drop. So if you can see yourself in a mirror anywhere, you want a pretty even curve throughout your whole back. You don't want your upper back super high up and then no curve through the low back. And then from here, starting at the base of your spine. So widen those sitting bones, get rid of that crease between your glutes and the back of your thigh. Then find that length through the upper back. And again, curl the tailbone under, round your spine. Lift through the shoulders, drop your head. And then uncurl, find that extension. One more time, you can move your whole spine at once if it feels good. Again, really trying to accentuate that lower back rather than the upper back curve. And then that length through the upper back as well. Feel the pull of the heels of the hands back towards your knees, engaging through the lats. Last one. And back through. And then pause in neutral. Tuck the right toes under, lengthen through that leg. And then from here, you're just going to lift the leg up, float it until it is about hip height or slightly below. And then you're just going to tap it down, tap the toes, and then lift it back up. Again, keeping yourself in a neutral pelvis. Tap down and lift for 4, 3, 2. Last one. Bend at the knee, pull the heel in towards the glute, and then reach long through the back of the leg, opening up through the knee. And then bend in and extend. 4 more. 3, 2. Think about reaching long through the knee as you bend that leg in. Last one. Good. Extend that leg long. Tap the toes to the floor. Extend your left arm out in front of you. Thumb up. And then reach that leg up with the arm and then touch it down. And lift up and back down. Hips stay square to the floor for 4, 3, 2. Last one. Pull the knee to the elbow underneath you. You don't need to touch them. And then reach long. And you can add a little round of the spine if you like, or you can keep it in neutral, whichever you do. Make a decision. You can alternate. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then bring that hand down. Good. From here, you're going to externally rotate from the thigh down towards the foot, and you're going to place the inside of that right foot on the ground, and you're going to send your left toes out to the side. So a little internal rotation on that left leg. And then you're going to open up towards the side. Woo. Find your balance, reach your arm up towards the ceiling. And then you're just going to tap your hand down and then reach it back up and open. And then tap it down and open. Hips stay facing the front, whatever is in front of you, your bed, your couch, a tree, maybe you're outside. It's super nice out. 3, 2, last one. Reach that arm up overhead, take a nice stretch through that right side. And then you're going to bring your hand down towards the ground, and then bring your foot to face the floor. You're going to keep your left leg as it is, and then you're going to open up the right leg, right arm. And then you're going to rotate towards the floor, hip and torso. Whole body rotating towards the floor, and then opening back up. Thinking almost like your pelvis is a door, and your femur, left femur, is the hinge. 2 more. And back down. The last one. Stay here, lower that leg down and lift for 8, 7, good. 6, really reaching out of the floor, underside of that left, the left side of your body is lifting up away from the floor, you're not sinking down. 3, 2, last one, and then rotate everything back down towards the ground, bring that knee underneath you. Shake out your knees, your hips, and then sit back on your heels and just roll your wrists around for a moment. Take a breath or 2 here, making sure you get a nice stretch in your wrists. Before we switch sides. Good. Coming back now onto all fours. Switch sides. And you're going to extend your left leg back behind you. First, take a second, get a little stretch through that calf. And then when you're ready, float that leg up. Tap it down. Keep thinking about that neutral spine, reaching the crown of your head away from your tailbone or in opposition. And lift for 6, 5, 4. Good. 2 more. Think about lifting from where that glute meets your hamstring. 2. Last one, pause here. Reach long through the knee as you bend the heel in towards the glute and extend long. And then bend it in and extend. And check in with yourself. I just realized that I am starting to arch my back, so I'm going to press my hands into the floor, find that lat connection, drop my ribs. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower that leg down, tap the toes, right arm comes out in front of you, thumb up, lift and reach in opposition, and tap it down for 8, 6. Hips stay square towards the floor. 2. Last one, pause, bend it in underneath you. They don't need to touch, and then reach long. Again, you can round your spine as you bring it in, or you can stay in neutral. You can alternate. Again, just make sure it's a conscious decision and you know what's happening. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. Leave that leg long and then externally rotate. Place the inside of that left foot on the floor. Bring that right leg internally rotated and then open up towards the front again. You're going to tap your left arm down. Reach it up. Tap it down. And reach. Excuse me, I'm getting a cold, I think, again, or allergies for the 4th time in 6 months. It's not great. 3. Keeping those hips nice and square, getting a good stretch and rotation through the upper back. Last one. Pause here, reach that left arm overhead to get a really nice stretch on your left side. Gaze can come down to the floor if it feels good. And then you're gonna lift that leg and arm up. You're gonna rotate your hip and torso towards the floor and then open it back up to the right. And then rotate it back down and rotate it back open. And down and open. 4 more. 3, going nice and slow and controlled. 2. Last time, we're going to stay up, reach that arm up, lower down with that left leg and lift up for 8. 7. Pressing the floor away with that right side. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then bring that knee underneath you. Bring your knees nice and wide here, and then sit back into child's pose, reaching forward. Take a big inhale, widen your ribs across your back, broaden your back, and then relax towards the floor. Good. And then come onto your back. Have your towel somewhere close by. And then from here, you are going to bring your head flat on the floor. Feet are planted and hips are also on the ground. In the interest of trying to breathe and use our whole rib cage and let our body move a little bit correctly, you're going to take your left hand onto your right side and you're going to reach your right arm up and overhead as far back as you can, keeping your back ribs on the floor. If your arm is hovering, you can also just bend through the elbow and break like this. Place the hand on the floor, a bit of a kickstand. Take a nice big inhale. Have your hand like 2/3 of the way down your rib cage. Take a big inhale. Think about breathing into your left hand, trying to expand the fingers by expanding the lungs into that part of your rib cage, and then exhale. Release. One more breath in the same spot. Exhale. If you're finding movement there, move your hand a little bit higher up. Same thing. 2 breaths in each spot, unless you're finding trouble getting a little bit of movement there. Close your eyes and let yourself visualize where your breath is going. One more breath, or one more spot rather. Good. Bend your right arm, lift both arms up towards the ceiling. Let them fall back, find that connection through your back body on the floor, and just notice the difference between your right side and your left side. Bend that right arm. Hand comes to the left side of your rib cage. Again, same thing. You can kickstand that hand down and let your elbow rest if that feels more comfortable. Again, 2 breaths in each spot. If you find a sticky spot, you're welcome to stay there. It doesn't feel like much. It makes such a big difference in not only how you move, but how you feel. By letting your ribs move where they're supposed to, your diaphragm move freely. One more spot. Good. And then grab onto, excuse me, that towel. Reach the arms straight over your shoulders. And then take a big inhale as you let your arms fall back overhead, only so far as you're keeping that connection. And then exhale, pull it back up towards the top. Feel your rib cage stay down in the front. Think about that connection between your ribs and your hips so you're engaged at the front of the abdominals. Back overhead. And lift. 2 more just like this. Last one. Good. From here, reach down through the hands, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Arms or towel comes to mid-thigh, and then round yourself all the way back down. Same thing. Shoulders to thigh with that towel over the shoulders rather to the thigh. Lift. Keep thinking about sending your ribs towards your hips. Your gaze is going to more or less follow the towel as long as it's not going overhead. 2. Last one, pause here. Pause with yourself lifted. You're going to lift your arms just to that neutral place above your shoulders and then press down, keeping this curled up position for 6, 5, my hair is pulling my neck, 3, 2, last one, and then you're going to lower yourself all the way back down. Good, and then from here, we're going to combine both those things. So, gaze stays up towards the ceiling or towards your kneecaps as the arms come overhead. When the towel reaches back into your periphery, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach the arms back in line with your head, and then lower down and lower your head, neck, and shoulders. Reach the arms overhead. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Arms lift, lower, and then lower as you lower your head. And again, back overhead. And up. And lift. And lower. And then lower all the way down one more time like this. And we're going to add a little bit more. Lift. Lower. And then lower all the way down. This time, bring your towel back behind your head how we had it before. Wrapped around your ears. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. You're going to bring your right leg into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. Shoulder blades are off the floor if that's comfortable. And then you're going to lower your right thigh towards the floor and then resist, bring it back up. Thinking about moving from the thigh rather than the foot. Your foot is just going to kind of go wherever your thigh goes. And lower. And one more time to the right. Last time to the left. And then take the towel out from behind your head. If you need, lower your head and then lift it back up to reset. You're going to lower the towel towards your thighs and then back overhead. And then lower it towards your thighs and back overhead. 2 more. Gaze is at your thighs or your kneecap. Neck is not, or chin rather, is not pressed against your chest. Good. Hold the arms up in line with your shoulders. Lower the right leg. And then lower the left leg. And again, feet don't matter. You can have your legs a little straighter. You can have your feet drop down by your heels. Feet drop down. Heels drop down by your butt. Jeez. Moving from the thigh is what you're thinking about. One more time to the left. Good. Bring the hands to the thighs. And then lower the knees. Reach the arms overhead. Bring everything in. Thighs and hands. And back in. Check in with your abdominals. Make sure that they're not puffing up towards the ceiling. If you're shaking a little, that's fine. Clearly I am. You can hear it in my voice. Inhale as you lower. Exhale. Bring it back in. 2 more. Last one. Leave the towel around your knees. Pull them in as you lower all the way down. And gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. Good. Lower your legs down one at a time. And then you're going to have your hands over your shoulders, feet pressing firmly into the floor, and then curl your hip bones up towards your ribs, and then keep going as you peel your hips up off the ground. Arms over your shoulders, And then think about reaching your arms up as you resist and lower your spine all the way back down. And again, curl the tailbone under, round up, or roll up rather, and lowering all the way back down. Release at the bottom. 3 more just like this. 2. Good. Last one. Pause here at the top. Let your arms come back overhead and then resist back in line with your shoulders. If at any point you want to drop the towel and just do this with your arms without the towel, go for it. And back up. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. And then here, you're going to pull the towel apart as you bring your elbows down towards the floor and then press the ceiling away. Resist down, pull the towel apart, and then lift up, press. Keeping the wrist nice and strong. And up. 4 more. Keep pressing those feet through the floor. A little engagement of dragging the heels towards the glutes for that back of the legs. And think about squeezing an imaginary ball in between your thighs. 2. Last one. Pause at the top. Bend at the elbows. Think about reaching them up towards the ceiling. Tap your forehead with the towel and then straighten the arms. So a little tricep press here. And up. Pulling that towel apart as you bend and straighten. The elbows stay still in space, more or less. 3. 2. Last one. Lower the arms all the way down. You're going to bring them all the way to the floor. Move your towel out of the way for the time being. And you're going to curl your hips all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Lift them straight up. You're going to lower your right hip. Reach long through that left knee and then square them off. And then dip your left, reach long through that right side and center. Think about just rotating your pelvis around your spine. And up. 2 more. Last one to the right. Last one to the left. Good. Pausing here. If you need to lower your hips a few inches, or if you want to bring them all the way to the ground, that's fine. I'm going to stay more or less where I'm at, though. You're going to let your left leg fall out to the side. So you come onto the outer edge of that left foot. And then you're going to resist to bring it back in. Check in with your right leg. Your right leg is staying more or less completely still. You don't want that right leg falling out to the side or falling in. So you're working just this on the movement of the left leg and then the stabilizing through that right leg. Again, think your left leg is part of a book and you're resisting to close it. Like it's the book with all the monsters in it, the like scary monster creatures from Harry Potter. You're trying to shut it, but that left side doesn't want to let you shut it. And then 2 more to this left side. Last one. Pause here, over to the right again, falling out on that outer edge of the right foot. And resist to bring it back in. And check in with your hips, make sure they're not lowered. If they are, that's fine, but make sure it's intentional. They haven't just fallen down. 6 more. Good. 3. 2. Last one. Good. Pause here. Reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling. If you want to let them come back overhead, reach your fingertips away from your hips as you peel yourself all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And grab behind the thighs and you're going to rock yourself up. Come towards one end of your mat or the other, it doesn't matter which one. You're going to find yourself in a little ball, and then you're going to drag your heels in until your feet lift up off the floor. You can do this with your towel around your shins if you prefer. I'm just going to hold on to them. And I'm going to think about sitting up nice and tall as I can, on my sitting bones, balanced with my feet in the air. I'm going to open and externally rotate my thighs so that my knees are wide, pressing into the crooks of my elbows. Heels are a reasonable distance, like 8 or so inches from my glutes, and they're going to stay there. And then I'm just going to think about making space in the front of my hips between my abdominals and my thighs. And I'm just going to keep that rounding of my low back, creating space until I roll back to the tips of my shoulder blades, come up, exhale, pause, and then unround your spine a bit. And then again, find that space. Think about that lower back articulating just like we were doing in the bridge until you come all the way back off your sacrum. You roll back, and then you roll up. Pause here again. Same thing. Find that space. I find exhaling makes it much more helpful. Just the tips of the shoulder blades, not the neck, and then back up. 3 more. Go at your own pace. If this does not feel good, fold your mat in half. Or you're just going to sit up top, and you're going to round off your sitting bones and then round back up. If not, 1 more. And then come all the way up and pause. Get from here, come over onto, what hip is this? Your left hip. You're going to come onto your forearm, having your hands straight out in front of you, making a nice 90-degree angle here, shoulder right over your elbows. Knees are stacked, and then check in with your hips. Make sure that your right hip isn't super close. You want that equidistance between the ribs and hips straight across the right side and the left. When you're ready, externally rotate, opening up that right knee, just like we were doing in our bridge for 4, 2, last one. We're going to build on, so we're going to do 6 of each of these. And then from here, you're just going to lift up into a side plank, and then lower the hips back down. You can have your hand on your hip, up towards the ceiling, on the floor for a little extra support, whatever works for you. 4, 3, 2, last one, pause here. Open the hip and lower down. 5, neck is nice and long, pressing the floor away, feeling that engagement of that whole underside on the left. 2, last one, lower the knee, lower the hips. You're going to lift the knee, lower the hips. Nope. Yeah. Lift the knee, lift the hips. There we go. Words are hard today. For 3. 3. 2. Last one. Lower all the way down. Press yourself up. And then you're just going to separate your legs. So you're going to send your right foot back behind you and your left foot in front of you. So you're in a Z-sit more or less here. Move your towel out of the way. You're going to have your left hand on the floor, right hand right in the crease of that right hip. You're going to think about lengthening that right sitting bone towards the floor, getting length through that side. And then you're going to think about spiraling up and around, opening through the front of that hip as you lengthen and rotate like on an upward spiral. So you may get like all the way through your groin, a stretch through the psoas, and then lengthen through that sitting bone imaginarily down through the ground. And then again, spiral up and towards like a corner you can look to where the ceiling meets the wall, and then back down. 2 more. And back down. Last one. Excuse me. Good. From here, staying in this spiral, reach long through that right hand, and then keep reaching through the hand as you slide that sitting bone down towards the ground and find yourself in a side bend. Good. 1 more breath here, really breathing into the ribs on this right side. And then lower that right hand to your right shin or to the floor on the right side and side bend in the opposite direction. Good. And then you're going to swing your legs around, and we will do the same thing on the other side. So, right shoulder over elbow, 90-degree angle with the hand. Knees are stacked, and then check in with your hips, your equidistance, ribs to hips across. And then open out into your clamshell, externally rotating from the top of the leg, feet stay together. For every more challenging, birdie thing in this class, there's something great with it, or something kind and feels great. This congestion is making talking difficult, so I apologize. Good. Lower the legs, keep them stacked. You're going to lift up, lifting the hips into that side plank, and then lower them back down. Think about that connection between your elbow and your hip to have that right side engaged fully underneath. 2 more, we're going to stay at the top. And up. Open the knee and lower back down. If you need, take a second to find your side plank. You know where we're going. 2. Last one. Lower the knee, lower the hips. Lift the hips as you open through the knees. And then resist as you come back down. Don't just drop to the floor. So resisting that up through the upper inner thigh, as well as that right side. 3, 2, okay, last one. Good, come up onto the right hand. Same thing, separating the legs. So left leg goes back, right leg comes forward into this Z sit here. Right hand to the floor. Left hand in the crook of your hip. Think about starting by lengthening that sitting bone into the floor on that left side. And then twist and spiral and rotate around to the left. Nope, to the right. And then sitting back into that left hip. And spiral up and around. Stretching through the hip. So as on that left side. Back down. Two more. You may even get this stretch all the way up into your abdominals. So again, that like rotating up as though it's a firecracker. I don't know. Reach that left hand up. Keep that stretch for a second here in this rotation. And then keep reaching as you lengthen that left sitting bone towards the floor and then find yourself in a nice side bend. Take a few breaths. And then bring your left hand down and then side bend up and over to this left side. Good. And then lower all the way down. And you are going to come down onto your stomach. Take your towel. And lay all the way down, face down. You're going to take your towel and you're just going to lay it over your hips to start. Hands right underneath your shoulders. And you're just going to think about pulling the arms, the forearms, the hands back toward your hips as you lengthen through that upper spine. Hips and pubic bones stay on the floor and then lengthen all the way back down. And then again, reach long through the torso as you float up. And then lower all the way back down. 2 more like this. Last one. And lower all the way down. You can bring your chin, or your cheek rather, to the floor. And find your towel, palms up, and then just reach your arms long to wherever they go. Let your shoulders round towards the floor. And then from here, you're going to take a big inhale. Exhale as you start to externally rotate through the upper arm. Float the head up. Inhale, floating off the floor with your nose just grazing the floor. And then exhale, reach all the way back, reach your arms back. And then lower halfway down, just so that nose is touching the floor. And then lift up, reach through the arms, and then lower back down. And up, 4 more. 3, 2, externally rotated through those arms, wrists are nice and straight. Last one, hold up. Lower the arms, lift for 8, 7, 6. Gaze is just gently ahead of you. 4, 3, 2. Last one, and then pull the towel apart for 10, 9, 8, 7. Arms stay still in the air where they are for 4, 3, 2. Last one, lower everything all the way down. You can bring your towel out of the way. Give your hips a little shake from one side to the other here. And then you're going to bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, and you're going to tuck your toes under. If you'd prefer to come up into a plank on your knees, you're going to leave your feet, tops of the feet pressing down. Your choice. Either way, find the squeeze between the upper arm and your torso. Press into the hands, bring your gaze to face the floor. Inhale, and then on the exhale, like a board, you're going to press all the way up, hips and shoulders at the same time. Good. From this position, lift your hips up. Find yourself in a nice down dog here. You're going to lift your right leg up as you bend it towards your chest, come into a plank, and then reach your foot back into a down dog as you come forward. 2 more times on the right side, just like this. Knee into your chest as you find your plank. And up. Last one. And up. This time you're going to bring your knee forward, place it down, and then open up and twist and rotate towards the right side. And then lower that right arm down, and then send it back behind you. 2 more times just like that. So bring the knee in with you, find your plank, hands to the floor, twist and rotate. Think about keeping that right hip in, don't let it fall out to the side. Back to your down dog. Last one. Twist and rotate. And then coming all the way back. Now to the left. So left knee comes into your chest. Find your plank and hold. And then back. Find your plank and hold. And back. 1 more time. And back. Next 3, we're going to add that rotation. So knee in toward your chest. And then plant it on the floor. Twist and rotate. Open towards the left side. Lower that left hand down. And then come all the way back. 2 more. Place that foot down. Twist and rotate. And back. 1 more time. Find yourself in a down dog. And then 3 times, you're just going to find your plank, both legs nice and supported, pressing the floor away. Lift the hips up and forward and up. 1 more time here. Take a big inhale. Think about looking over the edge of a cliff. Press through your hips. Bend your knees like you're going to explode forward. And then lengthen your heels towards the floor. Straighten your legs a bit. And then keeping them soft, start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And slowly roll all the way up 1 vertebrae at a time. You're going to grab your towel one last time. Go ahead and grab it. And then you're going to start with your arms. Same thing we did at the beginning of class. Combining that all together. Inhale as you lift the arms up. Exhale as you side bend over to the right. Exhale to the top. Inhale as you lower the arms. Lift. Over to the left. And then pause here at the top. Think about lengthening the crown of your head towards your towel. And float the arms down nice and slowly. Taking a big inhale and then let it out. And let your arms find your sides. And you are all done. Thanks.